Hello to everyone and welcome to our webinar today. We are going to talk about the benefits of doing an MBA at ESSEC Business School and the different formats they offer. My name is Nelia, I'll be the moderator on behalf of the UniMy team, and I'm here with a few very special guests. First, I want to present Natalia Jaime Magana, International Recruitment Manager at ESSEC. And I also want to welcome ESSEC alumni Erhan Kahraman, Gianluca Ericu, and Jonelle Hansen. Before giving the word to Natalia to start the webinar, I just want to tell everyone who is listening, you can ask questions anytime during this event using the chat box. We will take time to answer at the end of the session, and all questions are welcome, so don't hesitate. I think everything is said now, so Natalia, I'm giving the
Mhm.
word to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nelly. So, yes, as you were explaining, I am here. I have the honor to be here with three of our alumni because, as you say, we are going to compare the different formats of MBA that we offer. And so here we have one of each. We have Erhan Karaman, I'm sorry for the pronunciation, who is alumni of ESSEC EMBA on the weekends. We have Jonel Hansen, who is an alumna from ESSEC and Mannheim. She graduated this year. And we also have Gianluca Enrico, which is who is a global MBA alumni from 2018. And well, myself, I am international recruitment manager at ESSEC. So yeah, I am very happy to be here. And well, just to have a quick introduction, so ESSEC Business School, it's a global school. I mean, global reach with French roots. We have 4 campuses around the world. So that's one in Cergy, which is the outskirts of Paris. We have one in La Défense, which is the main business hub in Paris. We have as well one in Singapore and another one in Rabat in Morocco. And then we have also one augmented digital campus. In terms of rankings, we are ranked as number 8 best European business school according to Financial Times. And also, we are number 6 according to Financial Times as well for executive education programs. So this is very relevant because these are the programs that we are going to talk about today. And we are also a triple crown business school, which means that we have AACSB, AMBA, and EQUIS accreditation. And so, well, I mean, what's the subject today? We're going to discuss the different programs, as I said, just to make it a little clear for you guys, because maybe you're not yet very familiar with ESSEC programs. So we have the full MBA program, Global MBA, which is full time. And then we have 2 executive MBA programs, which are part time. So, as I said, we have Janelle, who is alumna from ESSEC and Mannheim. This is modular. Later on, I will explain what does that mean. And then we have also ESSEC Executive MBA on the weekends, whose alumni today is Erhan. And so just to get a little bit from your, I mean, from the class profile, okay, what kind of student, what kind of professional goes to a specific program? And so we're going to start with the full-time one. So the Global MBA program is very international and diverse in terms of nationalities. Actually, we have 17 different nationalities today. And actually, this is what we call a boutique program. So maximum we have about 50 participants. It's something very customized, specialized, because it's a unique experience for you guys. In the average age, it's people in their 30s, so late 20s, early 30s. In average, people have 6 years of professional experience. Their GMAT score, because that's a requirement, it's around in the 600, 620. And we have a very good participation of female, which is 60%. So the alumni that is with us today is Gianluca. So Gianluca, would you like to share something? I mean, we have a Q&A session later on, which is more detailed, but would you like to add something here on the class profile? Something from your
Sorry,
year,
I
for
was on
example?
mute. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no
Yeah.
worries.
Yeah, there's actually a lot to share. So, for example, what impressed me a lot was the experience of the cohort.
Hmm.
So when I joined, there were managing consultants from Accenture, big firm, or other managing consultants from other consultant companies. While I still haven't transitioned yet, when I did the MBA into consulting, it was for me really impressive to see already so many people in my class that were working in the industry I wanted to switch at. Maybe one additional point is also the change you can do after the MBA. So what we all were looking forward for was a switch of industry, switch of residency, and switch of position. So that were like the three switches we all wanted to achieve afterwards. And most of our class cohort at least switched two of those three possibilities. So
Nice.
that was
Yeah.
really impressive for me.
Thank you. So actually, yes, that makes part of our Q&A session later on. So I am looking forward to hear more about that. Thank you very much, Gianluca. So now we pass to the ESSEC EMBA on weekend. So Erhan, as I said, he's our alumni with us today. In terms of the candidate profile, it's about mid-senior to senior executives. So it's people around in their 40s. So the professional experience, it's required to have minimum 8 years of professional experience. And then, well, in average, people actually have more. They have around 16 years. And, well, managerial experience is required as well. And well, I mean, it's individuals who are looking for career advancement. I mean, they want to break a ceiling they are facing right now in their company. Of course, better compensation, employment opportunities. Then, as Gianluca said, I mean, why not as well changing location, maybe switching towards something different, etc. So, Erhan, would you like to add something in terms of the class profile? Like, how was your cohort, the diversity in terms of nationality and or industries?
Yeah, it's as you say, we had lots of different culture, people from different countries, and also it was nice to have people who worked in other countries. I mean, it's not only people from France with
Mm-hmm.
different culture. So it was very nice to work with very different way of leading and managing. And also about the changing, I wanted to say the first thing you change is yourself. I will talk about it later.
Okay, it's a little bit of suspense and teasing for later on. Thank you, Erhan. And yeah, after this, we have the second Mannheim EMBA, which is modular. So actually, modular, it means that they have around 1 week of classes. I mean, from Tuesday to Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. Janelle will be able to correct me if I am wrong. So it's about, let's say, to make round to make things round, it's like 1 week of classes every 6 weeks. So that's how it works. And then in terms of nationalities, I mean, it's very diverse as well. Around in terms of professional experience, people have around 15 years of professional experience and 6 years of managerial experience. We have 44% of female participation, and then in average people have 30, I mean, late 30s, 40s, and it's people as well coming from different backgrounds such as engineering, business and economics, science, law, social, etc. So Janelle, I would like to listen to you as well and know more about the class profile that you had, for instance, in your cohort.
Yeah, sure. My particular cohort, we were more female representation,
Okay.
and our average age was actually a little bit higher. Our average age was 40%, and we were coming
Okay.
from a variety of cultures and countries, so we were quite
Mhm.
diverse. So.
Okay. Thank you. And well, then just to get a snapshot of how the programs are delivered, and then after this, we're going to go into the most interesting part, which is interviewing our alumni. We have prepared some specific questions. So just about the program delivery, a quick snapshot about the Global MBA. It's a full-time program, as I said, so it lasts for 12 months. It starts in September. Then it's in two campuses. So actually, well, it's in Paris, La Défense, and there is a possibility to study 1 term in Singapore for a specific major. It's very international in terms of countries discovery as well, because there are field trips happening abroad, mainly European destinations, and they are going to have some networking events, company visits, workshops, etc. At the end, they have classes from September till mid of May of the following year, and then they have two options. So in order to complete the program, they can either do a capstone consulting project or an internship. So, I mean, if you have more questions, of course, I'll be happy to answer and talk further about the program. And it has two majors, which is strategy and digital leadership and luxury brand management. Would you like to add something here, Gianluca, or maybe just after in the Q&A session?
In the Q&A session, I will
Yep.
touch some of those points.
Okay. And then, thank you. And then we have ESSEC EMBA, which is on the weekends. So it lasts for during 18 months. It's part-time and the intake is in March. So next intake that we have for this program is ends of March of the following year, March 23. And as I said, it's on the weekends, twice a month. It happens in La Défense. And then there are 3 residences, mainly in one in Europe, Asia, and USA. They have 2 different projects throughout the program, which is entrepreneurial project and the social class project. And the focus is entrepreneurship, leadership development. So I don't know if Erhan, would you like to add something, or similarly, you would like to wait till the Q&A?
No, it's crystal clear, and so I will also leave to the Q&A.
Okay. And then last but not at all least, we have the second Mannheim. As I said, it's modular, so the same duration as the weekend one, 18 months. But this one happens during 1 week every 6 weeks. And the intake is in October. So the previous one that we talked about was starting in March. And this one we're stalled in October, and every 6 weeks the classes. It happens, actually, this is the interesting part here, that it happens in Paris, La Défense, and also in Mannheim, Germany. I mean, this is a double degree that you have 1 degree of ESSEC and 1 degree from Mannheim. So classes and lectures are split in between. I mean, Janelle, she will be able to tell us more about how does it works. And then there are 2 residencies, so Europe and USA. In terms of the projects, they have as well strategic project and social class project, and the focus is innovation, strategy, leadership. Janelle, I asked you the question, would you like to add something here or later on in the Q&A?
Yeah, I'll just add the 2 residencies. I don't know if it's now since changed, but my residency was in Singapore.
Okay.
And that was actually one of the highlights for me, was doing an Asian residency. Coming from the US, that wasn't as exciting for me, but it was a great opportunity to go to Washington. So I don't know if that residency has since changed to now be located in Europe, but for me, it was in Singapore.
Okay, great. Yeah, actually, it can slightly change. I mean, similarly for the field trips, for instance, for the global MBA, right now we are focusing more on European destinations, but cities, countries, they can slightly change from year to year in order to do newer things and more updated subjects as well. So now is the most interesting part. I mean, what I consider the most interesting part, because we're going to listen to our alumni. So Erhan, who is alumni of ESSEC EMBA Weekend 1. So can you please tell us more about yourself, nationality, background, what were you doing before the joining, or at the moment of joining the EMBA program?
So I'm Erhan Kahraman, and I'm Turkish, living in France, studying in France, and I had the pleasure to be our cohort was the COVID cohort. So we started the executive MBA as the first day of the lockdown.
Oh no!
It was a very, very, very interesting experience. Actually, it was I came to the MBA like in some sort of chaos, social chaos, economical chaos, etc. And when I entered the executive MBA, I think I still wasn't head of IT as far as I can remember. I was responsible of IT systems.
Okay.
And now I think you have much more, some other points, and I will say what changed in
my
life.
Actually, at the moment of joining, you were already living in France, or you moved from Turkey to France?
No, I'm Turkish. I'm living in France since I'm very young.
Oh, okay.
I came here when I was 4 years old. So.
Okay. So you kind of grew up here. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, what are one of the best moments or experiences that you had during the program?
Yeah, during the program, the best thing for me in my side is the MCT. I really loved the MCT. The MCT. It was. I don't know how I can talk. Maybe there will be question about it, but MCT changed. So, as I said a few minutes ago, first thing is that you change yourself before
Yeah.
changing your salary, etc.
Mhm.
And working with people with different culture, different way of leading, different way of managing, different way of seeing things. Wow, it changed me a lot. It was the great, and I'm still in touch with my MCT every day.
Yeah.
I love them.
That's great. There's a tight bond over there.
Yeah, completely.
Nice. So, what was the most valuable aspect for you of studying the EMBA, or something that you would like to highlight?
Of course, on I will talk about the work, everything we learn, etc., on the academical side. But what I would say is that the way I used it in my company and how I became so now I'm head of IT of
Mhm.
products, and I'm also taking the all the security of the security. It means that now I have budget. I can I'm leading full budget. I have my team is a bit bigger, so there is all these things you have on academical side, and that helps you to grow up and to
Mhm.
change things on your professional side.
Mhm. Okay, great. Um, and yes, what professional growth did you have post EMBA?
The, of course, there is the title, there is the job, but the most different the thing I can say, and it's not written. So now I'm the number two of my company. So
Mhm.
I used to have a much more, people in IT are geeks. We don't know what they're talking. It's they're about bits, etc.
Mhm.
So now I'm talking much more about I'm talking
Okay.
French and English, and
Yes.
that changed a lot about my position and the way I'm behaving in the company and the way people see me.
More international and strategic
Yeah,
approach.
completely. And
Okay,
I may
great.
talk about the strategy later. About for me, the course of strategy was it changed my life.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for these insights, Arhan. If at the end of the Q&A with the other alumni there is something else that you would like to share, please feel free. Thank you very much again, Erhan. And so, Gianluca, now we are here with you for so that you can share with us your experience of the Global MBA program. Can you tell us more about yourself,
Yeah, of
nationality,
course.
background?
Perfect. Before I
Mhm,
start, Erhan, congratulations to your growth after
mhm.
the MBA. About me, as you can probably hear from my accent, I'm half German, with a hidden half Italian. I was born and raised in Germany, lived in Italy, lived in Spain. Now with the MBA, I lived in France and Singapore. I will talk a little bit later
Mhm,
about it more. Lived in the US, so I'm really diverse from a
mhm,
cultural background. I was working 7.5 years in banking, first retail banking, and then in the risk management department of the corporate and investment banking at UniCredit Bank, the biggest Italian bank, maybe now second biggest. That's always number one and number two competition.
Nice. Thank you very much. Yeah, very quite international profile you have, huh? So, what are some of the best moments or experiences you had in the Global MBA? I'm sure there are too many because
There
you
were too
guys,
many. I
it's,
really had
yeah.
to decide hard. My number one would be the Singapore exchange.
Okay.
To first time travel to Asia, study
Mhm,
there, having that exposure was just an unforgettable experience. I always want to go back because when we studied there, we were four students from the MBA program that switched
mhm,
over there because you had the
mhm,
possibility, but not the obligation
mhm.
to do exchange. We were like a little family. We got an apartment together. We traveled to other countries like
Nice.
Japan, Philippines, Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia. So we got a full Asian exposure. Other unforgettable moments were the Digital Week, which
Mhm.
was kind of a hackathon
Yeah.
to work on digitalization projects for, in my specific situation, for a bank. And another thing which I really loved a lot about ESSEC, which sadly is not talking so often about, is the networking also with the undergrads. You might think, okay, why is that so special? Because even though they are undergrads, they have really interesting profiles, and you can join their associations. And I made really great friendships there.
Okay, that was when I mean, yeah, at the time the program was taught in Sergi.
Exactly.
So yeah. And in Singapore, the four of you that went, which nationalities were
So
the other three?
we were really diverse as well.
Mm-hmm.
It was me, then a girl from the US,
Mm-hmm.
a guy, his name was Ruben, from Peru,
Okay.
now living in Hungary, and
Okay.
then a girl from France.
Okay. Interesting. Thank you. And so, what was the most valuable aspect for you of studying the global MBA, or something that you would like to highlight?
Two things actually. So the one I mentioned before was the digital week. Why was that
Mm-hmm.
so valuable?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was working in banking for 7.5 years, and before doing and deciding to do the MBA, I felt that I was stopped in my career growth in
Mm-hmm.
banking, because
Okay.
banking is like an industry where it's right now more about cost cutting than with really much potential.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to make a switch to an industry that was new and had growth potential. So I decided I wanted to become a techie and change in the tech industry. And because of the experiences I made at ESSEC, like the Digital Week, like the Capstone project, which was focused all on digitalization, I had
Mm-hmm.
so many interesting things to talk about in the job interviews.
Nice.
um, where I landed then finally a job change in an IT company.
Mm-hmm.
Second highlight is the career services.
Okay.
Why do I want to highlight them? Because you can book them like anytime.
Yep.
So even when I was in Singapore and wanted to prepare for some interviews, I just
Mm-hmm.
booked a slot on my
Yep.
own time schedule
Mm-hmm.
with a representative of the career services team. And
Mm-hmm.
they helped me to prepare the interview. They helped me with my LinkedIn page. They helped me with my
Nice.
CV, with my cover letter. So I felt I was totally prepared for the job
Mm-hmm.
market. So
Great.
I'm actually missing them right now. Like for the
Well,
next
I
career
think,
jump, it would be
yeah.
nice to have them back.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, I can put you in touch afterwards with our
Perfect, perfect. They were
talent
amazing.
center, because it's a win-win. I mean, we also need you guys, the alumni. It's always great to stay in touch with you. So, yeah, I mean, I will put you in touch with her.
Perfect. Really love them.
And yeah, actually, it's great that you had this opportunity with the talent center. And
Yeah,
I
I
want.
actually mentioned it to some of my co-students in the cohort,
Mhm.
because they were like they knew about the possibilities to contact the career center,
Mhm.
but didn't know how helpful it was.
Mhm.
And then I was the first student in the whole cohort who landed a job. And
Nice.
after that, everybody went to the career center.
So, and what was your specific subject of the capstone?
It was at a bank, a French bank,
Mhm.
and there we did an assessment of digitalization of the CFO department.
Okay.
So
Okay.
really
Very.
interesting, and also really good to leverage for my job change into
Mhm.
IBM.
Totally, many elements that you were able to use for your interviews, as you said. And
Exactly.
so, yes, thank you. And so, well, with all of these, the highlights, the everything that you got, what was the professional growth you had post MBA, global MBA?
So I felt really lucky because I achieved two of the three switches or changes I
Mm-hmm.
mentioned before. I
Mm-hmm.
changed industry, I changed job profile, and job level. I sadly didn't change the country change, but also because I love Germany way too much. So I stayed
Mm-hmm.
here. I work now at IBM. I started there 4.5 years right after the MBA as a senior
Yeah.
consultant,
Mm-hmm.
and now I work there as a managing consultant and project manager for our process stream of a big project. So it was really, really much I learned. Just like Erhan, I got so many experiences from the program, which nowadays I can use on a day-to-day basis.
Great. Thank you. And yeah, well, maybe why not one day back to Singapore or the US
Oh
or
my
France?
gosh, cannot wait.
You never know. Thank you very much, Gianluca,
Thank
for your
you.
time. Also, as you have something, if you have something else to add after our Q&A, feel free, like something that pops up your mind, feel free to do it once we finish with the Q&A. Thank you very much. Janelle, so now with you for the ESSEC and Mannheim EMBA experience. Same, can you please tell us more about yourself, nationality, background? What were you doing at the moment of joining the EMBA?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Janelle Hansen. I'm from the United States and living in Germany. I've lived in Germany since like 2018, and at the time, I was working for an Italian company who was trying to enter the U.S. market. My background has been in transportation planning and consulting, and they were asking a lot of questions about entering the market. And because I was kind of a transportation planner, didn't necessarily have kind of maybe the business background. That's actually what prompted me to pursue the MBA, was to kind of think about the strategy and innovation and finance. So my background before was strictly in planning, transportation planning. Spent 15 years in transportation planning, and mostly as a consultant. So about 12 years of consulting experience working with cities and agencies and governments in planning.
Very interesting. Thank you. And so, what were one of your best moments or experiences during the second Mannheim?
Yeah, I think like the others, there's so many. For me, really just the diversity of the participants and just hearing about people's backgrounds
Yep.
and where they're coming from. And I think what was really exciting was when we would all get together, and even though we were coming from different backgrounds, just kind of having like that same interest in like the topics, and just feeling like you could connect with somebody who wants to talk about, you know, digital transformation. And just, most people might find those concepts really boring, but you can have like with the cohort, have like 2-hour conversations about such topics. And so that was really great to just know that every 6 weeks I was going to be
Yep.
with people who were just as interested and just as engaged and just as, willing to put forth the time to be there and be present.
Nice.
And so each time we met was like a great experience. I would also say one of the other highlights was the CIFCO, doing like the leadership. And like Aaron, I was in the COVID cohort, so we actually did the leadership kind of in the middle. I know that's like one of the first things that you do, and I think maybe having it in the middle was maybe a little bit more fun. We all knew each other, and so maybe that kind of helped us accomplish all of the tasks that you're supposed to do in the outdoor leadership. It was really kind of like strengthening our relationships with each other and feeling like very connected. And as a cohort, maybe because of COVID, I don't have anything to compare it to, but we were all very close as a group, and engage with each other and offering advice on how to approach different things. So I would say like each week we were together was kind of a best moment, so to speak.
You were every time looking forward. I mean, once it was done and you were going back to your job, you were already kind of looking
Exactly.
forward to
Yeah,
the next
you look
time.
forward to it every 6 weeks. Like, yes, where are we this week? Because I was in the Mannheim cohort, so ESSEC was, a great addition. But I was recruited through the Mannheim cohort.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, actually, how was this split of lectures? How often you were traveling to France, to Mannheim, and then the residencies abroad? How was this rhythm?
Yeah, for me, it was that was actually one of the reasons why I chose kind of the dual aspect, because I looked at just doing like only Mannheim, but I really wanted kind of the diversity of the lecturers and the diversity of the participants. Even though I've seen from the straight from the ESSEC, it's very diverse, but I really wanted kind of a diversity in the business culture. So, Mannheim, I heard, is recruiting mostly from German companies, and I really wanted to have kind of a broader perspective of what it's like in a French company versus a German company, and coming from the US, and working only for American companies, I was really actually interested in just hearing what's different culturally and between the two. So, and I was also interested in the lecturers, the German side and the French side.
Nice. And you say that you went to Singapore for the residency, and then did you go somewhere else as well?
Yeah, so COVID actually disrupted a lot of that.
Oh, yeah, of
We
course.
actually are going to go to Japan in
Oh,
March. So yay, I have a little extension
okay.
but
Right.
Singapore was postponed. So we actually did that as one of the last modules, and it was a smaller group that went, which was a great experience. I mean, we were kind of at the end of the program, and so it was just kind of a relaxing. Everything was kind of good. And we did same thing with the U.S. residency with Georgetown. That was also postponed,
Nice.
but we did end up going, which was also a great experience. And
Yeah.
we had a bonus maybe. We were able to go to Barcelona
Oh,
and do a residency in Barcelona, which was also we did an outdoor leadership program at Barcelona. So maybe we got a little extra. But that was my experiences with the
great.
residencies.
Great. And so then, what was the most valuable aspect for you of deciding to study an EMBA program?
I mean, for me, it was a lot of personal growth, just where I
Yeah.
was in my career. We're a little bit older cohort, and I was really kind of looking to take like the next step. Transportation consulting was great, but I really wanted to kind of move to the next level and kind of broaden my experience. So that was kind of the reason why I pursued like the EMBA and just really spent time looking at each of the course descriptions and, the social project, the strategic project. Just really understanding like how I could use that, to kind of broaden it. And I think like John Lucas said, just being able to like talk about that in an interview of like, oh, I've done transportation consulting, but look at all this other things that I've just done with innovation and strategic and digital transformation, and just really exciting, very relevant topics, especially like right now, like it's this time period, which is, we talked about COVID and we talked about ethics, and so that was really interesting. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Very interesting. And then, I mean, I understood it was for personal growth and a more strategic role. So, in that same line, what professional growth did you have post EMBA?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question for me specifically, because of COVID, a lot of what I did kind of got disrupted. And I mentioned I was in Germany, and for me, as an American, it's been really difficult to actually find a job in Germany, not speaking the language. And I kind of understood that, but it would take time. And so for me, like the professional goal was like to try to like make it in Germany, as they say. That was one of the reasons why I did this MBA, was to kind of get the network and to study and kind of have that, on my resume. And, I was started with an Italian company, actually went to an American company, and I just landed a job with a German company, which was really great to finally feel like, I kind of got there. And I think the MBA definitely helped with that, even though it's still in transportation consulting, and they kind of like, MBA, that's great. But, they were really more interested in my, degree in planning. But for me, it was really a personal growth. That was really the highlight for me, because, I walked in with having like a fear of public speaking and all of these things. And my MCT was like really great. Like, let's all, what are our fears? What do we want to accomplish? And, then I kind of like turned that around and said, that was for me like the highlight of just more the personal growth for the program.
Great. Thank you very much. Very insightful as well. And so, yeah, I mean, we have arrived to actually the end of our Q&A session. Thank you very much to each one of you, Janelle, Erhan, Gianluca. Is there something else that you would like to add, guys?
I wanted to say this because I talked about changing yourself during the executive MBA. Doing an executive MBA at the ESSEC, at least, I don't know for the other, is not about just going to school and doing academic work and going home, maybe evolve a bit. No, that's not it. Um, I always say this. I'm not very sociable a guy, to be honest. But this ESSEC is this trip is like a family. The bond you will have with your MCT, with some of your teachers, with is very very strong. And as you can see, as alumni, we take time. We also take time here to speak, but it's very different. It's not about just coming, having some courses and diploma,
Yeah.
and it's finished. No, it's you really change something, and you decide to enter them in something else. So I just wanted to add this.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. And also, I mean, I spoke about the boutique class size program the boutique class size for the global MBA. But I mean, as far as I understood as well, in your cohorts for both EMBAs is as well not a super big cohort. So you can have this. I mean, we are not talking about cohorts of 100 people or like massive cohorts. You can actually really get to know each other. I mean, because it's your network as well, it's your professional network. So during, as you say, with the MCT, or actually, we can explain to our audience what is MCT. Can you give a word on that, Erhan?
Yeah, the MCT is the multicultural team. Is
Mm-hmm.
so it's a team built with people of different cultures and also personalities. I will open my camera. I think it's better when I'm talking. Personalities. You don't have in the MCT two exactly identical people. We are all different,
Mm-hmm.
and right now my MCT is friend. I'm sorry, it's not the American world of friend. It's really friend. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we are very close. We call each other every time. We help each other, and
Mm-hmm.
with the MCT, with all the homework you do. You also, I learned very late, so I'm not very young now. I have some experience. I've learned lots of new way, and I learned to let people doing different way and
Mm-hmm.
have good results. And it was
Yeah.
a very good trip, you see.
Mm. It
So
helps you mature as well a lot. I mean, makes you go out of your comfort zone because you're used to working in a certain way, doing in with a certain methodology. Also, our backgrounds of, I mean, either personal or professional kind of shape us as well. So the fact of being confronted to these different backgrounds, not only international diversity, but also in terms of fields of study, I think that's, I mean, at the beginning, it should be challenging, right? To start working together.
honestly, it's quite true. At the beginning, the first thing you have when you're in, we IT, we are geeks, so you hate every you saturate everybody, and then it's I said to you, I love my MCT. It was great. You just
Mhm.
learn to see different people and different way of doing, and also you learn to talk French. I mean English. We all do the courses in English. You learn to
Mhm.
talk English, not technique.
Yep.
So you learn to explain things to everybody.
Mhm.
So MCT is
Mhm.
matter. All the rest is very good too. I love the executive MBA, but MCT.
Mhm. Thank you very much, Orhan. Janelle, actually, would you like to give a word about your MCT? I mean, I think you guys have one as well, right?
Yes, we did.
Mhm.
We were also, we're still in touch with each other. I mean, we just finished in June 2022,
You're
so
right. Mhm.
not so long, but we were also like
Mhm.
very diverse. We were, we had Swiss, French,
Mhm.
Kenya, Russian, and American.
Oh,
So we
wow.
were we were very diverse, which was great. And
Mhm.
you know, there's going to sometimes be struggles, and we always like try to like work through them afterwards to like build on like why, and talking about everything, and like supporting each other. And so that was really great that we were able to like, kind of use each
Mhm.
other of like building how to work through problems together. And I would say, that was one of the highlights, as Erin
Mhm.
said, that just having that MCT group that you meet
Mhm.
with like weekly. We met every week on Mondays.
Girly. Mm.
So that was like, 1 hour meeting every week with or without assignments. So you really kind
Mhm.
of develop, relationships with each other.
Hmm. Very interesting. Yeah, it's a lot about teamwork, very, very much.
Yeah.
And Gianluca, well, you guys, you don't have like precisely MCT, but you work a lot on teams as well. So would you like to give a word on that?
Yes. So for me, it was in the same direction like Erhan said.
Mm-hmm.
You became a family there
Yep.
because on the one hand, even when contacting alumni, when you had questions about job openings or something, everybody was so welcoming.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, we worked so much on teams during the year,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm still super good friends with so many people from my cohort. I went to their weddings. I hope they will go to mine. We talk to each other really often still nowadays. When I visit a new country, like for example, this year was the first time in Hungary in my life. I
Mm-hmm.
knew that I had a friend from my MBA there, so I could catch up with him. So it was really not just working together and learning from each other, doing projects, but really becoming a family, like starting lifetime friendships. And I
Mm-hmm.
really like that a lot. Also, my job at IBM, I got through an alumni.
Mm-hmm.
So that helped also to do the
Yep.
switch.
The connections. Thank
Mm.
you very much. Thank you for all of you guys. Thank you, Erhan, Gianluca, Janelle. Thank you very much for your time, for sharing of your time with us because it's a gift. I mean, we know that you are very busy. You have meetings. You have your life going on. So, so we really appreciate that you share this time with us. And well, I don't know. Let me look at the text box. There are a couple of questions. Um, Hello, I'm Algerian. I have a bachelor's degree in biology. Can I have a chance to learning MBA? Okay, so actually, there is no specific background that we require. Actually, as we said here, I mean, you can see there are different backgrounds. The peer colleagues of our alumni here, they come from very different backgrounds, so it actually really depends on your professional project. It needs to be coherent, to be solid, like, okay, I have this background of biology and I would like to do an MBA because this and that. So it's actually rather your professional project and your goals, how you link that with your background. So I wouldn't say that there is a blocking point if you come from a certain background. It's just more, I mean, the professional project that you have. I mean, if it's I see someone else who did a degree in law, so again, it depends on the different, I mean, on your professional project. So yeah, we're done with the questions. We're done with our Q&A session. Thank you very much again to all of you for your time, and hopefully talk to you very soon.